Sutra 2.37 Asteya pratishtayam sarvaratnopashtanam. Asteya means non-stealing, non-misappropriation, desirelessness, non-covetousness. Pratishtayam means well-established. Sarva means all. Ratna means gems or precious things. Upasthanam means approaching or coming up. Asteya pratishtayam sarvaratnopashtanam. When abstination from stealing is firmly established, precious jewels come. Upon the man who does not take what does not belong to him, all riches are showered. Being without desire, he effortlessly attracts what is precious, materially and figuratively, including the gems of all jewels, virtue. Sutra 2.38 Brahmacharya pratishtayam viryalabha. Brahmacharya means continence or chastity. Pratishtayam means well established. Virya means energy, vigor, potency or valor. Labha means gained, obtained, acquired. Brahmacharya pratishtayam viryalabha. When the sadhaka is firmly established in continence, knowledge, vigor, valor and energy flow to him. The celibate transforms the energy of procreation into spiritual energy or ojas, creating luster. Brahmacharya, in its sense of sexual control or celibacy, is often misunderstood. Sexual energy is the most basic expression of the life force. It is immensely powerful, and it is essential to control and channel it. In no way should we despise it. On the contrary, we must respect and esteem it. He who seeks merely to suppress or stamp down his sexual energy is in effect denigrating his own origins. Of course, there is a moral aspect to sexual behavior, but cultural differences permit vastly different behavior. Some cultures allow one wife, some 3, some many. In parts of the Himalayas, a woman may have several husbands. Often what we call sexual immorality offends less against the code of Brahmacharya than against the other injunctions of Yama. Imagine the case of a married man who commits adultery with a married woman and lies where he is suspected. Has he not offended by the pain he gives against ahimsa? By his lies against satya? By taking another man's wife against asteya? By his greed against aparigraha? The sexual misdemeanor in itself shrinks in comparison. A yogi may or may not practice total abstinence. The great yogi Vaishishta had 100 children, yet he was called a brahmachari. Ancient yogis studied the conjunction of stars and planets to discover the most auspicious moment for procreation. Continence or control in no way belies or contradicts the enjoyment of pleasure. Assuredly, they enhance it. It is when sensory pleasure is the sole motivating factor that brahmacharya is infringed. The life force which finds sexual expression also serves to find the warmth of our emotions, the passions of our intellect, and our idealism. As our physical essence is sperm or egg, so our spiritual essence is the soul. Their relationship should be based on cooperation. It is the creative relationship of Purusha and Prakriti which leads to freedom. Renunciation is a positive process of disengagement, not a sterile rejection. In the past, most great yogis were householders. We must learn to husband and control the life force, because it provides the energy which carries us to goals other than procreation. Also, we should remember that procreation by those practicing brahmacharya will tend to be of a higher order than that which is carried out thoughtlessly or promiscuously. The religious or educational studentship of adolescence is also termed brahmacharya. That is because the enormous outburst of energy which is released by puberty needs to be contained and channeled for the child's all-round growth. If a child were to indulge in sexual activity the moment he or she was biologically ripe, a large part of his or her human potential would be thrown away. We need application, study, and idealistic motivation if we are to achieve anything. If by youthful profligacy the concentrated source of our energy has already been squandered, we will rediscover it later in life, only with enormous difficulty. Lack of control can lead to despair, dejection, and depression. But if energy is abundant and controlled, we have hope and confidence, and our mind turns automatically to higher thoughts. Sutra 2.39 Aparigrahastarya Janmaktamata Shambodha. Aparigraha means without possessions, without belongings, non-acceptance of gifts. Starya means by becoming steady, stable. Janma means birth. Kathamata means how, in what way, in what manner, whence. Shambodha means knowledge or illusion. Aparigrahastarya Janmaktamata Shambodha. Knowledge of past and future lives unfolds when one is free from greed for possessions. When one is steady in living without surplus possessions and without greed, one realizes the true meaning of one's life, and all life unfolds before one. Perseverance in this austerity leads to knowledge of one's past and future lives, which appear like reflections in a mirror. When the sadhaka is free of worldly aspirations, he is a kirtanan, which is a happy and satisfied person. Apigraha means not only non-possession and non-acceptance of gifts, but also freedom from rigidity of thought. Holding on to one's thoughts is also a form of possessiveness, and thoughts as well as material possessions should be shunned. Otherwise they leave strong impressions on the consciousness and become seeds to manifest in future lives. These cycles of life continue until the sadhaka is totally clean and clear in thoughts, words, and deeds. Apigraha is the subtlest aspect of yama, and difficult to master. Yet repeated attempts must be made to gain pure knowledge of what I am and what I am meant for. This discriminative thinking helps to plan one's future lives from this present life. This is what Patanjali means when he says that the pattern of future lives unfolds to an apigrahanin,